I was there the day Horus slew the Emperor.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Lightning Tower episode 5. We're a Horus Heresy podcast. I'm joined by Stu.
Hello.
And Liam.
Hello there.
And today our main topic is going to be talking about the new units PDF that was released last week.
Yeah.
But first, as usual, we like to talk about the games that we've played.
Yeah.
But I just want to say before we go on to that if you're listening to this on YouTube and you prefer a podcast app like Spotify or Google Podcasts, etc., we're on there, and vice versa. So if you listen to this on a podcast app and you want to maybe comment and leave questions for us, because we do have a listeners' questions thing, you can listen to us on YouTube, and to ask any questions for the listeners' questions section, you just leave a comment under the latest YouTube video.
After you subscribed.
Obviously.
Yeah. So
Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've actually played quite a few games now with Horus Heresy 2.0.
Yeah, a few. Right.
So,
3 each, maybe?
so since the last episode, I think the first one we did was another group game at the club.
Yeah, I missed that when I was at work.
It was Ultramarines and Iron Hands against Death Guard and Night Lords.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I think we'd already done that before, more or less, hadn't we?
Was there an extra one in the one before? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
No, didn't you use rights of the rights
we
and
used
stuff?
Iron Warriors as well in the one before.
Yeah.
But there was
Yeah.
still only 2 players, but
Yeah,
3.
and we kind of like, we had 1,000 points each,
Yeah.
and just kind of, we didn't start till 8 o'clock really. And
Oh, was it a late start for
yeah,
you?
Yeah.
And then kind of I had to go at 10, so we only really got 2 turns in. And we had Night Lords had the night fighting right at war,
Yeah.
so kind of the first, like nobody else knew we were using it, so we deployed stuff like quite far away,
Yeah.
and then nothing really happened, to be honest,
No.
because everything was like out of range.
A couple of bits of
Nothing
moving.
could see. Well, I think it's like fair to say that the Night Lord's night fighting thing is pretty harsh if you're not expecting it.
I think the thing to take away from that is if you're fighting Night Lords, expect
it. Yeah. At least give all your heavy weapon squads the augury things.
Well, yeah, because they don't have to roll for it. It just happens for
Yeah.
the first 2 turns, and then it might happen on the 3rd turn still.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You're going to spend half your game.
Oh, do you not roll for the second turn either?
No,
Oh.
first 2 turns there has to be
Well,
night
that's a bit
fighting.
naughty.
So if you're not expecting it and you never fought them before, obviously it's going to really change how you set your army.
I mean,
like how you deploy and stuff like that.
clues in the name.
And but you wouldn't expect that if you hadn't read it, or I didn't know they had that,
Oh, no, fair enough.
so I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, the Night Lords as well, every unit can take night vision.
Yeah, I do know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, if you take it every unit, it's going to get pretty pricey.
Yeah.
And is there any point in taking it in a close combat unit who isn't
Yeah,
going to be
if-
shooting?
Yeah, anything that doesn't have a 24-inch or above range
Yeah.
probably doesn't need it.
No. I mean, they'll not get the minus leadership,
Hmm.
and there's something else, isn't it? What's
The
the
hits?
range, ballistic
Yeah.
skill, and leadership? That's
Yeah.
what's affected, isn't it?
Yeah.
The only thing you're talking about really is the leadership and the.
Well, yeah, the ballistic skill might matter. It depends, like, say, on your deployment type, how close you are, that sort of thing.
If it's bow pistols, you're not going to care.
No.
If it's plasma pistols, you're going to care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something to...
I'd say I'd pick and
Take note
choose
of.
who to put on. Don't just automatically give it to everyone.
Yeah. So we never...
We didn't conclude the game.
No, we didn't conclude. We never really looked at any more depth at that right of war.
No.
I think the downside was there was only one heavy support option.
Yeah, you can only have one heavy support. Quite
So-
limiting, really.
So I think the way to look at it is, if you're in that kind of fight, it's going to get close up because they're going to build towards close assault because they have to.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the same time,
And if you use
like if you're playing like Iron Warriors, and you plan on sitting at the back line shooting, nothing's going to happen.
No.
after the first few turns. It's probably not a good matchup for you.
Well, Night Lords versus Iron Warriors.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen.
Well, you know, it does.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
games will happen. I'm just saying, you know.
I think the other takeaway from that game is how good the land speeders are.
They can be quite good.
They're
Yes.
a lot now. They have the same kind of thing that the dreadnoughts have now, that they aren't vehicles
Yeah.
and they're wounds. So unless you dedicate stuff to taking them out, you're not going to wipe out the squad of land speeders. Like in the first edition rules, I know I would just lose a squad of 2 or 3 land speeders to bolt gunfire.
I mean, bolt guns can still get them.
Yeah, it's a lot harder for them now though.
They'll be wounded on 5s, and then
And,
you get
and
your
you've
save.
got a save and you've got 3 wounds, whereas before you just needed that 1-6.
I think it was 2 6s per land
Did
speed.
they
I
have 2 hull points?
think they had 2 hull
Yeah.
points.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, it just changes the weapons that you use. That's what it does.
Yeah.
But needing the strength 10 to instant death, it's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's not
Yeah.
much has that.
No. But yeah, I think like medium weaponry would be the way to go for them. Like your
Yeah.
special weapons and your lighter,
Plasma.
heavier weapons.
To be fair, I think the dreadnought in close combat with them
Oh well, yeah.
would.
I mean, dreadbolt and close combat with anything.
Yeah, anything with like anything with brutal 3. Although there's not a lot. Like I say, even the Thunderhammer is only brutal 2, isn't it?
Yeah, that's brutal.
And it's
too.
like that's one of the. When you look at the difference between this game and Warhammer 40k, you're like going, oh, how many wounds does my leader have? You're like, what? He's only got 3 wounds.
Yeah.
And then even the most damaging, like man-sized close combat weapon, which is the Thunderhammer, only
Yeah.
does like 2 wounds
What-
in return. So
It will, but the Thunderhammer is likely to get instant death as well.
yeah, it's just I like the fact that the leaders aren't as good.
Tough as they used
Yeah,
to be.
then you like they're not
more-
superheroes.
No. And I think that kind of elevates the normal dudes,
Yeah.
really. Where it creates less of a gap. And it creates a nice gap between them and Primarchs
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
It shows how much better they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we had that. So that was nearly 2 weeks ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then used to had a game last Tuesday.
Yeah, we had a game last Tuesday.
Yeah, we had a game last Tuesday. It was Death Guard against Blood Angels. Was it 1,000 points?
1,000 points each, yeah.
1,000 points each. And I would say you lost it in the laying out the objectives phase.
Yes. Yeah.
So you
The
put-
idea, it was a great idea. It didn't work.
it was a great idea for me.
Yeah. No, I thought it would have worked. It just didn't.
It was the mission, I can't remember what it called,
No.
where you place 5 objectives in the no man's land area.
Yeah.
And you put 3 of them kind of next to each other, and then I had 1 deployment, so I was able to. It was a start off. I could take 1 from deployment because it was so close to my
Yeah.
edge,
Yeah.
and then able to walk forward. 1 squad was able to hold all 3 objectives,
Yeah.
and then I don't think there was any near your edge. No, there was
Are
one.
you allowed to hold more than 1 objective with the squad?
I have no idea. But either way, right? He didn't take any objectives,
No.
so
This is probably one thing because you're not allowed to in 40k, are you?
Might be worth a check, that.
I won't check on it.
Yeah.
So-
I can't remember reading anything about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're still catching up on
Yeah.
rules, really. I mean, how long have we had it now? A month?
Yeah, about a month.
Well, I've had a bit less than you.
5 weeks, and it's still like we still haven't got everything read
No.
in
Oh
these
no,
books.
no, not at all.
Do you know what I mean? There's still loads like that. We're like learning every game we do. We learn another rule.
Yeah.
So what were those armies then?
So the Death Guard, it was 3 squads of tactical marines,
Yep.
2 contempt dreadnoughts, both with 2 Gravis las cannons,
Uh-huh.
and then a Praetor with a Paragon sword, Paragon blade.
Was that your list? It wasn't it? That was it, wasn't it?
That was my entire list.
Yeah, mine was 2 tactical squads, missile launcher squad,
Yeah.
a contempt dreadnought with
You had 2 fisted and 2 metal guns.
it was two las cannons,
Right.
When twin las cannons on one and then two fists on the other one.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. I would say the main takeaway from that is moving heavy weapons teams and then snap shooting. It's pretty bad.
It's
You can't snap shoot blast.
Yeah.
only snap shoot the
Crack missile.
crack missiles.
Yeah. So it was just like, you just miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also like how important line is as well.
Yes.
Just to be able to take objectives.
Yeah.
Like it's how you win games, is getting line troops on objectives.
So how did your Dreadnought versus Dreadnought battle go then?
So it was very one-sided until we noticed that I was mathematically winning the game for sure,
Yeah.
and then I let him charge.
Let's see what would happen if this happened. Basically, what he kept doing was he kept
I moved
moving
forward to get in range, and I kept moving back to keep him out of charge.
Yeah,
range.
just so he's always out of range.
Yeah.
Because Stu won to go first.
Yeah.
I had to put my two dreads behind cover.
You didn't have to.
But it was a sensible thing to do. And when I got round, Stu was able to move enough to keep firing at us, and then
Move back while shooting.
basically just staying out of range
Yeah.
of me charges. So I lost loads straight away, but it was my first game.
Yeah.
So from that, it was mainly learning how things work, learning what the special stuff you give your men do. It was more of that than I need to win this game. It was more of a right. How does this work? What does it do? How does the game play itself?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'll say for Death Guard as well, the Fury of the Legion came in a lot.
Yeah.
The fact that they can just always do it
yeah.
because
so
they never count as moving.
shooting loads of bolters.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think as a Death Guard list, you need to lean into that a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they're actually probably better at shooting bolters than the fists.
Yeah. So now we've had quite a few 1,000-point games. Because I had one with Brian as well last week actually. I
You
forgot
did,
to
yeah.
talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Marines against Iron Hands.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll talk about that game. Basically, I had 4 attack squads, 2 in Rhinos, Master of Signal. Did I have any speeders? I did have 2 speeders. I can't remember what else I had.
I can't either.
I might have had I had the Vindicator laser destroyer.
Yeah.
Brian had 2 squads of breachers, 5-man tac support with grav guns or grav shredders, a forge father, iron father,
Yeah.
and his Leviathan dread. And basically I tabled everything bar the dreadnought, which I didn't even wound.
No.
But I managed to tar pit it with a couple of close tactical squads
Yeah. So
because it was a
it had 2 guns on.
yeah.
It didn't have any close combat weaponry.
Yeah, so it couldn't really.
It was basically the power armor. It was just making it kind of like sit there.
Yeah, I mean, it killed a couple of guys,
Oh yeah.
but I wasn't hurting it in return.
No.
Unless you
neutralised it.
unless you have, because they're not a vehicle now, they can't just leave combats.
No.
So that is one downside to dreadnoughts and things. So I just managed to hold up this nearly 400-point unit, and basically because he'd spent so many points on a single unit in such a small game,
Yeah.
everything else just got overwhelmed with just bolter fire really, and this plasma cannons on the speeders, which
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think the game works at 1,000 points?
I mean, we've had fun games.
Yeah.
I think at smaller points, reactions are overpowered
Yeah.
because, like, say a game of like 3,000 points, you'd be having the same number of reactions.
Right. Sorry. Controlling objectives. A unit can only control one objective marker at a time.
Alright, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then it wouldn't have been 17-0.
No.
It might have been, I don't know, 12-0.
12. But that's handy for future reference. Though.
Okay.
Yeah. I did think that was real. Yeah. Yeah. I just think 1,000 points.
Although that's hard. Sorry, just to go on
Yeah.
that. You've got a squad of 10 men.
Yeah.
Move it in the middle of 3 objectives. Split it into a squad of 5 men. You've got 2 objectives.
We can't just split a squad.
You can't, can you?
No.
No.
That's in the 40k.
Yeah. Sorry.
I did have 2 units there though, so I was only missing 1 objective.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So 14 then.
yeah. So basically, I think you can play games at smaller points
Yeah.
as long as you're sensible with what you take.
Yeah.
Like I say, if you taking anything that's 300 points or more in a single unit, it's not really going to work, as it's going to make it less of a fun game for both players, because there's just going to be less to do.
I think one of the things is what we've just said about how line is important. When you take something that's like 300 points, you're reducing your line units.
That's 3 squads. That's 3 squads of men.
Yeah. You need them.
Yeah.
You really do.
I think like you need to start with a base, like a strong core of tactical marines, or what the close combat ones, despoilers.
I think
Breaches.
so, yeah.
No,
Breaches.
I think it is the spoilers.
breaches have line too though.
Yes.
So them as well. You need to start with a core of them dudes.
Yeah.
Like this, these are going to be men who hold and take objectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think after that game, Brian's switching up his playstyle a little bit, because he was running the right of war that let him take all the grav, but he's now going to try the Medusan Immortal one.
They look quite good.
Yeah,
What are the grabs like? Are they good?
only if you've got stuff to shoot at, with them,
Yeah.
which I don't really.
They've got Haywire, which is good against vehicles and dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Right.
Wounds of Dread
But
on
it's a
a,
very short range as well.
yeah. The Wounds of Dreadnought on a 2. So a squad of 10 grav shredders, 20 shots. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You'll
it's-
kill any dreadnought that shoots
But
in
then
one round of shooting.
you've got to get them in the right place at the right time.
No, you
But
would put them in
what
the right
save would you
order.
have? Would you have your normal 2 save, or was that your 5 save against them?
No save.
No save.
No, it was just you just roll the thing and you get the wound, don't you?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's it.
There was some special
I
wound.
don't know if you get an invul, I can't remember, but you don't get a normal. You definitely don't get a normal.
But
save.
even with invul, you
It
fishing.
was on a 1 it does nothing, 2 to 5 you get wounded, and 6 was something special.
it was on
sure.
the vehicle one.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was good anyway.
He never, like I say though, he never used it because I didn't really have anything for him to shoot with
Did you
it.
not take your rhinos this time?
I did have rhinos, but they never got anywhere near that squad.
Right.
I
Like,
don't know. And because it's such a short range, why
yeah,
would
it
they?
was
What,
just
what was the range? Is it like
12,
12
I think.
inches.
for the shredders.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to see if there's like a heavy version of it. That might be
There is
alright.
grav cannons, but if you're only doing one hit to your wire, then it's not really any better than a las cannon.
No, the last cannon could be more versatile against
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah, much bigger range as well.
Yeah, so, and then we've just had a game just now. So, me versus Liam, which is obviously Ultramarines and Blood Angels. So we went for 14, well, nearly, we'll say 1,500 points,
give it,
yeah, which felt a lot more versatile on the table. And I think it also meant, like, the reactions weren't as powerful,
Yeah.
because we didn't have just one thing we'd want to react with, so we actually had to make choices.
Yeah.
So I had a very similar army. I had 3 tac squads, 1 in a Rhino, Master of Signal, Praetor with the Thunderhammer, 10-man tac support with Plasma, 3 land speeders, and a Contemptor with 1 Gravis las cannon, 1 Gravis plasma cannon. And I used my Logos Lectora right of war, which is the one that gives us like doctrines style thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Liam, what did you take?
Very similar list to what I took against you. It was the same core units, so the 2 tac squads, the heavy, the missile hunter squad, the 2 contemporary robots. I did switch up one, so rather than having 2 las cannons, I had a las cannon and an auto cannon, just for a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a change. And then I had the Damocles Command Rhino,
Yeah.
just with the standard twinning bolt on the top, and Land Raider Achilles, just because why
Just
not?
the Land Raider.
Just Land Raider Achilles, just for a bit of fun.
Yeah, so we were playing long ways up the table, and we both deployed like right as close as we could get anyway.
yeah.
Apart from my land speeders, which I forgot to deploy. So we said, at the end of the first turn, I can put them on, but they have to be behind the ruin where they can't see anything, right at the back,
Yeah.
which is fair enough.
Yeah.
I think the first major thing that happened is I
Forgot to put your Land Raiders on the board.
I shot my Gravis las cannon at
No,
one
the
of your
first
tac
thing that
squads.
happened, it was a night fight.
Yeah.
I forgot my missile launcher squad had
Oh,
my
yeah,
scanner,
so
so I
you-
forgot I had ignore the night time, and that could have
Yeah.
rained down hell
So I
early on.
turned up.
Well, but then
Turn 2 and reminded them that.
you did have them behind the wall in the
No,
first turn anyway, though. So I
but
don't
see-
think you would have shot.
Well, you see, if I had have remembered they had that
Yeah.
ability, I would have placed them.
Placed them better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Gravis plasma cannon hit one tac squad,
Me front
And
tax squad.
killed like 8 dudes out of it straight
Yeah.
away, and your Praetor ran away
Because he was in
he
that
was
squad.
squad.
Yeah, I failed the morale test.
And they just
Well, I rolled 11.
I mean, when you see 8 guys like turn the slop in front of you.
Yeah, you go.
yeah.
That.
Yeah. And I think like early on, not a lot else was happening, was it? The Land Raider wasn't as good as you thought it would be,
No,
because it did kill people,
it did, but
but it definitely was a long way
Oh.
off making its points back.
yeah.
The Land Raider didn't get hurt either, though, did it?
Oh
No,
no,
it didn't take anything.
I couldn't touch it with anything really. On
No.
on the side of the table that he was on,
Well, it's
so all I could try was punching it with a power fist. Like
Even
nothing,
that, you need to get lucky.
yeah, nothing else.
it's 40. It's
It was
14
like-
all round.
Yeah.
So.
I think going forward, it needs to deliver something.
Yeah, it's the Achilles quad launcher in Heresy is nowhere near as good as it is in 40k.
Yeah.
And the twin Volkite culverins.
Hmm.
Well, no, they're called dual Volkites on that, aren't they?
Yeah, it was the dual Volkite.
Dual
So
Volkites. So there's 6,
6 shots, but
Twin
really
links.
rolling. Yeah.
12 altogether if you
Yeah.
got the view because of their twin sponsons. Yeah, it's just the cannon in this. It's just not in 40k. You put it behind a building and it fires 60 inches. It doesn't need line of sight. It's like just sit here and pop
Would that not
things.
be a waste, though, having a Land Raider behind a building?
Probably.
It's the fact that it didn't need line of sight and it would rain down hell on anything. It
Yeah.
was really good because you could
The
fire.
thing-
You could fire 2 different shells as a upright like an artillery piece.
Hmm.
Then you could lower the cannon and it would fire a different set of shells as
Yeah.
like a normal tank would fire a cannon.
So
So
I think, let's imagine, let's say it wasn't that Land Raider, it was the Land Raider that can carry 10.
yeah,
Was that just called a Land Raider normal?
I think
They
that
have,
would be Prometheus, I think.
Proteus and-
Proteus or something.
Oh,
Let's say it was a
stuff now.
Proteus Land Raider with a line unit in it,
Yeah,
and it just drives up the table,
Yeah.
everything bouncing off it.
yeah,
Last turn, you just get out and take the objective.
yeah, basically.
Solid tactic.
Yeah,
That would work, I suppose. Yeah, and if you go up to like 2,500 points,
Like, you barely scratched it. In
Yeah.
fact, you didn't even scratch it.
No.
no.
Everything bounced off.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I did do though is I did make its life a little bit awkward though by driving me Rhino
Right,
in-
yeah.
right in front of it.
yeah,
So it was either like had to shoot the Rhino or had to try and maneuver around the Rhino to shoot at what it wanted to shoot at.
Yeah. Sacrificial Rhino.
Yeah. I suppose if it was a normally armed Land Raider with las cannons,
yeah.
that Rhino would
I have got one of them as well.
that Rhino wouldn't have lasted very long.
I think I'll be using that one next time.
Yeah, I think that would do quite well.
Yeah.
That way, me 10 Mark II Marines in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're just on standard. Wait, apart from the under 10, they're just on the standard.
Can the Land Raider have the flare shield? Or is that just
Don't,
Spartan?
no, I haven't checked.
If it
But-
can,
oh,
even-
that's and the Achilles has. Oh, what was that special rule it had?
had a special rule.
We had a special rule. Which was
Ignored
really cool.
armor bin, didn't
That
it?
was ignored armor bin.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. There was no melter here, was there?
But
No.
it's no, unfortunately, it wasn't.
But normally that would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, technically, there was a multi-melter.
Oh, it's on your side.
No, it was on the Dreadnought because you didn't have a plasma cannon.
yeah,
Oh.
the plastic kit
Doesn't come with the plasma.
Yeah, it doesn't come with the plasma cannon, so I just had to.
So am I going to print some plasma
Gonna
cannons?
Yes, you are.
The other thing noteworthy as well for printing is if you haven't built your Spartan yet,
Right.
actually the chassis is the same as a Typhon Siege tank.
So you could just stick a toilet roll in front of it.
But like I say, if you can find a conversion kit online to print, you can easily make a Typhon instead of a Spartan, which might suit your army better depending on what you want to.
I'm going
Do.
all infantry with the death guard.
Yeah.
What I have just been looking at though is fortifications. I think that would suit them,
Yeah,
like a trench network or whatever.
interesting.
Yeah, I think that'll work quite well
Yeah,
and be thematic.
Yes, it would be. Yes.
Yeah, they do like trenches. It doesn't help you get up the table to take objectives.
No, I'm hoping I've just got more men than you've got bullets.
Yeah. Right. So so I think after that first squad was nearly wiped out, you fired back with your frag missiles,
Oh, that was
and
amazing.
that
Once you turn up and realise that how
yeah
it actually
so,
works.
Yeah, so I turned up turn 2 and I was like, are you not firing that missile
So
launchers?
my squad was quite dense, and every hit 7 of them.
Yeah,
And I think you ended up doing like, was it 50?
55 hits
55 hits.
and
yes.
32 wounds.
Yeah. And I failed. Did I fail 10?
Field 10.
And then I decided to shroud
Yeah.
and got 5 back, which was quite lucky really to get the 5
Yeah.
back.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um,
And then you passed the pin.
Yes, he did
I
that.
passed the pinning test, which was lucky as well. But the thing to take note of there is it just took absolutely ages to do that.
Yeah, it did.
Like if
20
you were
ages.
in like a time constraint tournament environment or something like that, I would probably not suggest taking full squads of missile launchers. Just
I would.
We
just
just
gonna run out of time.
have a quick way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that you were here you'd got here as well, so there was like 3 of us.
Yeah,
working
the
it
3 of
all
us
out.
working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it still probably took about 10 minutes to get
It
through
did take
that.
about 10 minutes, but
To
it was
get
something
through
that we haven't done or
Yeah.
seen before.
I would say that's part of Horus Heresy is just enjoying that kind of stuff in
It
the
was
game. Though.
funny.
Yeah.
Trying to find enough dice just to work out
Is it?
how many.
Like going through
Is
this
a random question
long-winded.
though.
Yeah,
Can you not shoot half frag and half crack?
I've no idea. Possibly.
I don't see why you couldn't.
It's the other book, I think.
It'll tell you about the weapons will have
Yeah,
to fire the same.
because I don't think it does. I think you can if you have different types.
You have different profiles. You can choose which
Yeah,
one per
and
model.
you choose it per model. So you could like fire off a couple of crack and a couple of frag and get the best of both worlds.
So you might fire the crack to kill and the frag to pin.
Yeah.
Although saying that, I think the 55 frag hits probably would have done better
Yeah.
than the cracks.
Probably. So the next thing that
I mean,
happened.
you did get 10 of them,
Yeah.
which was the maximum you could have got if you did
Yeah.
the crack.
Yeah. So the other thing that happened is all 3 dreadnoughts died.
Yes.
Yes.
So my plan to take out your close combat dreadnought worked. It did cost us nearly twice as many points as the close combat dreadnought costs to do it. So I had the full 10-man plasma support squad and the Praetor with the Thunderhammer
Yeah.
in the Rhino.
That's in the Rhino as well.
Yep.
So you're talking like
So they basically
400 odd points.
Yep. So they drove up to it, basically got out, blasted it to bits. Well, no, actually they shot the other one first, didn't they? So they nearly killed the gun dreadnought, and then the close combat dreadnought went to charge them,
Yes.
and he
Yeah.
Yes.
No, he shot his flamers at them first, didn't
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
shot the flamers at them, and then our shot reacted and took a load of wounds off.
he? Yeah.
I think you took 2 off.
Then you charge, I overwatched, took
Yeah.
a couple more off. By this point I'd lost about 6 guys to Gets Hot.
Yeah.
And then the close combat, I think you killed 2 normal dudes.
3.
Was it? No, the sergeant survived.
Oh, yeah. So 2, yeah.
2 normal dudes. The sergeant and the Praetor were left. The Praetor just smashed him with his Thunderhammer,
Yeah.
finished him off.
Yeah.
And then the other dreadnoughts,
Went off hunting your dreadnought.
yeah, and they were like trading quite equally. I'd lost a couple of wounds to my own Gets Hot, because I only really fired that plasma cannon once, didn't I? And then it never went off again. And then my speeders, once I took the objective on your table edge with me tac squad, the speeders that were supporting them just came back and
Yeah.
shot your dread off.
Yeah.
So I think I've picked up from this game, obviously the dreadnoughts were still good, but they weren't the complete game winners they were in
No.
every other game.
What's up, the dreads?
Yeah, because
Yeah, now the points are creeping up.
we've just got more stuff on the
I
table.
can't find if the dreadnought, if you can switch fire.
Yeah.
If,
We'll worry about that next
we'll worry
time.
about it next time.
Yeah, like I said, because we had more stuff on the table.
You were worrying more about what you need to use your reaction for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Like I say, the more stuff you have. The one thing I did forget is to use my special reaction, where you can shoot back but with 2 units.
Yeah, you should probably try and remember that.
Yeah, because I think it's one you need to use early on as well.
Yeah,
'Cause
you've also
get-
still got maximum firepower.
Yeah.
But I forgot till like halfway through the game, and by that point I didn't really have any situations, like any one positioned where it would be worth doing.
No, you
Yeah.
didn't. By that point, you hadn't. No.
Yeah. But then same again, you forgot to use yours as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because you might, I'm not sure where you would have used it, but it might have came in handy. But I think I won that game basically because I had the extra tactical squad to what you had.
Yeah.
That comes back to what we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
You need your base of line troops.
Mm-hmm. See that Achilles I took was 320 points. That is
You could have 30 men.
an extra 30 men.
Yeah.
And
Which
then
would have made a lot
it
more.
would have
of
made a big difference because he would have had too many men for him to handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
As long as they weren't too dense for the gravis plasma.
Yeah. So another one to point out is I used my Rite of War, the Logos Lectura,
Yeah.
and
The
I
doctrines.
wasn't happy with that at all.
No?
no, it saved your ass a couple of times though.
So
I mean, I like that your choices have downsides.
yeah. So first turn I went into regroup, so that one doesn't have a downside, but I didn't need to take any morale checks first turn anyway.
Yeah.
Second turn I went onto Retribution Strike, so it's +1 weapon skill, -1 ballistic skill, which kind of killed my shooting, but I just knew that you would charge with your Dreadnought,
Yeah.
so I wanted to survive that, which worked. It meant my Praetor survived your Dreadnought close combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it made
But-
it harder to.
Harder to hit me,
Yeah.
but my entire, and easier for me to hit back,
Yeah.
but my entire shooting for all my infantry wasn't as good.
No.
So I had a
I
plasma.
don't think you actually killed much with the infantry.
Well, see, me plasma guns there were hitting on fives.
Yeah. Was it fives?
Fives. So even though I did a couple of wounds to the Dreadnought, if I hadn't have done that, I might have just killed it.
Yeah, yeah. You probably
know
would
what I
have, yeah.
Mm.
Because we had night fighting and -1 for this.
Yeah.
And I was like, have I went too far there? So it's not as bad, actually, after night fighting turns, because you can get your +1 to hit off the Master of Signal and off somebody else within 6 inches,
Your laser fighting
like
thing.
painting your target, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get it back. But was it with it? Hold fast I never used
No, you did the end, didn't you?
because because you can't move your infantry.
Oh.
For +1 ballistic skill on the infantry, you can't move them. So I was never in a position where I just didn't want to move any infantry.
That would be handy once you've got objectives.
Yeah.
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 And then full march I never used either. Just +2 to move, but -1 weapon skill and ballistic skill.
Mm.
I maybe just could have used it on the first turn, but
It could be useful
'cause I
depending
didn't
on,
really shoot anything or fight anything.
depending on the mission and the layout.
Yeah.
It could be useful.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't just dismiss it.
I think it's irritating for Ultramarines because you have that one Rite of War, and you've got to take your extra tac squad and the Master of Signal, who's pretty good,
Yeah.
but you've got to take them to have it, and then it's not that brilliant on the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, especially since you can't use the same one 2 turns in a row. So whereas say your Death Guard, right, where you just turn all the terrain into dangerous terrain for everyone apart from yourself.
Yeah.
That has no downsides in the middle of the game.
No, that's true.
All your downsides are during army building,
Yeah.
whereas this has downsides during army building and during the game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it can be upsides as well.
Oh yeah, the upside it is upsides, but it's not like
In the battle I had against Liam, I did use that Rite of War where all the terrain was dangerous terrain.
Yeah.
He never went near it,
yeah.
and he didn't have to either. It's like because the battlefield just didn't come up.
Yeah.
So in that case, my Rite of War was worthless.
True.
Mm.
I just thought I would not like I said, it's handy, but there was turns where I was going, should I just not use one? Because I've
Can
got
you choose to do that?
yeah, I think so. But you've got so much going on over so much of the battlefield that it's difficult to go right. Yeah,
But
this
the
turn was just
question
going to
is
shoot.
then, is there a better right you could use, like from the generic ones?
I'm not really sure because I still like having a well balanced army.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to go like all Terminators or all fast attack units or all tanks.
But like, so, say like the veteran right, what's it called? Pride of the Legion.
Yeah.
It makes the veterans and the Terminators line troops. Doesn't mean you have to fill out with them.
I know, but
You can still take tactical marines.
What's the downside to that one though?
I can't remember.
Because they all have a downside. They all stop you taking other things.
I think it's one heavy support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, have a look at them if you think one of them is more useful.
I mean, I didn't have any heavy support today, but I will be in the future.
Yeah.
Because that's what I've got planned for me. Master Signal to go in a squad with 10 las cannons.
Wow. Okay.
So,
you don't go 2 squads of 5. 10. That's a lot of las cannons.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just I know, but for a big game,
Yeah.
if you shoot at something, you want to kill it.
That's
Do you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Even a Land Raider, is 10 las cannons guaranteed to kill a Land Raider?
Probably not.
No. Or even a Leviathan Dread.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed to kill that. So
Especially an Iron Hands one.
yeah.
Oof.
So see what happens. But yeah, that's our game. So I won that game. I managed to get attack squad on the objective in Liam's deployment zone.
I did the same.
You did the same, but you
Died.
you got killed because you.
I'd run out of men.
Yeah, you ran out of men.
Oh, we both killed each other's warlords.
Yeah, so my Praetor died in Overwatch fire. He was on his own, and I thought, I'll charge, and he got a bolt around to the face.
Yeah.
And that's what
Should
you
have had
get.
a helmet on, shouldn't he?
Sure, you
That's
should have
what-
had a
That's what you get for not wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
And then your Praetor
Charge attack squad.
charged attack squad and
Got took out by a power fist.
yeah, I got power fisted. So
Nice.
that's what happens. So that's all our games. So as you can tell, we're still learning. We're still getting some rules wrong and figuring
All
out
part
some
of the
things.
process.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we've had
And there's
quite a few games
there's
now.
a couple of bits we've also picked up in the rules that are a bit misleading.
Oh, the vehicle
The
movement.
vehicle movement and firing, it's a bit...
Should I get the page?
You get the page because the first sentence shouldn't exist.
Oh, I don't think we need the page because it basically says
I've got it.
all vehicles.
Hey.
That was fast.
So, page 205,
Yes.
top right. Vehicles may shoot with heavy or ordnance weapons counting as stationary, even if they are moved in the movement phase.
So that reading that means you can fire all your heavy weapons or your ordnance after you've moved.
as if you
As
didn't move.
if you didn't move.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to say in the movement bits,
In the movement
about
bits.
limitations,
Yeah, so it's...
Yeah.
which totally contradict that first
Yeah,
sentence.
so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a bit annoying.
It is. But there we go.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
But it's, to be fair, it's the only one thing we've found that is
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
up to now.
Yeah.
Well, up to now.
Up to now.
Right.
I'm sure we'll find more.
Yeah. So, well, how do we feel about the missions so far?
They're okay.
I think they're very generic.
They are.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's probably something that would be expanded with like campaigns and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They feel very bland so far.
They feel like tournament missions.
Yeah.
They feel like these like equal fight tournament
Yeah.
missions.
There's no like real attacker defender, is there?
No.
Is it not?
No,
No.
they're all like equal
Both
fight.
need to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I mean, it's okay for a main rulebook, I suppose.
Yeah, true.
But then it's not really expanded on in anything yet, though.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred like six missions like that for people who like to play that kind of game,
Yeah.
and then 6 attacker defender.
Yeah.
Like more realistic missions.
Hmm.
So like, attack this base, assassinate the leader,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
something like that.
Have more than half your
Ju-
squad
just-
in this
just- yeah.
area.
Yeah,
for-
just an attacker defender. Like
Yeah.
say for example, there's an ambush deployment map and no ambush scenario.
Yeah. That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like when we played against Brian, we used that map, but then rolled a scenario about holding deployment zones.
Yeah.
So I could have literally won that game without even getting into, like, going near him. and ambushing them. You could win that game just by
Deploying.
deploying and moving out of your deployment zone, staying behind cover so no one can shoot anyone.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But it's like they've come up with these maps and missions, and you can play any mission on any map, but it's not actually adding much more variety.
Yeah.
It needs more like pure like designed missions.
Yeah.
Do you think the designer for the maps and the designer of the missions were two different guys and they didn't speak?
I think it's more like we've already got these maps from other systems.
Yeah,
Let's just reuse
they're
them.
just pulled straight from 40k, aren't they? And the missions are very similar.
Yeah.
So I think the other thing for me is I like to have the deployment map with the scenario. Like that is how this mission plays out.
Yeah.
Because when it's random, sometimes you just have the weirdest things.
Like a defined mission with a defined map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an attacker, this is a defender, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm not struck on the whole deploying your entire army.
I think that depends on the mission, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There was one way you had to go through fast attacking and all that stuff.
Yeah, we had to do that. We had to do that. But I still had to deploy my entire army.
Yeah?
Yeah. So it's one person deploys, the other person deploys.
But
The person who deployed first gets first turn, unless
Yeah.
it's a siege.
unless it's a siege initiative.
Yeah. And that's kind of how it goes.
Which I don't particularly mind because it makes it faster.
Yeah.
And also deploying first and getting first turn, that negates the negative of deploying first.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it does that, but see, night fighting, and I forgot I can ignore it.
Yeah. So that's our games played.
Yeah.
So hobby progress.
Do we want to go into hobby progress? Have you done much?
I've painted 10 dudes.
Have you actually? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't expect you to have done that.
I've also painted a mantelpiece.
Fantastic. I've built 1,000. I've built 1,000 points.
Yeah.
In a weekend.
Yeah.
There we go.
So, ordered some bits and pieces. That's about it, really.
No, okay.
How did you find the contemplative dreads?
I wasn't. It was too many bits for bits of it.
Yeah.
I think there's too many. You need to do this extra little bit, and it's why? Why wasn't that part of that bit of plastic?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm like, the head being in two parts.
Yeah, that I don't get that at all.
Unnecessary.
Totally unnecessary. Why put the head in two parts?
The feet, 4 parts each. Same. Unnecessary. You know, the legs.
Hands were all right.
Legs were 3 parts. The lower legs.
The feet was 4 parts.
Yeah.
So you had to build up.
Even though it's like just a big trainer.
So you had to build up the feet, then build up the lower leg, then build up the upper leg,
I might do my
then build
right
up
with
the
the take on.
hips. then after you're done, you have to build up the knee pads and put the knee pads in.
Oh.
It was a little bit. Why?
There was just a lot to it, and I get that they wanted to make it posable, but
It's not. It's not that plausible.
there's still only so much you can do with it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have bothered.
It's like I've got one looking slightly right and one looking slightly left. It's about it, really.
Yeah. So what have I done? My tactical marines are finished.
Finished?
Yeah, all 40 TAC marines
Yeah.
are finished. The master signal's finished. I've built and sprayed my Praetor, my plasma guys, and my Contemptor Dread. And the Spartans half finished, but I'm kind of like lagging with that because I've no real plans to use it yet. So it's just something to do when I don't feel like doing
How many
something
does
else.
that carry? Can that carry again?
20.
20.
Well, maybe
more.
22, is
I
it?
think it's 26.
26.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It could be really good. I just haven't got the plans for it at the minute because
In a game where
It's so expensive.
it's really expensive, and I would have to use up a heavy support slot
I tell you what,
because I don't have the Terminators that who can go on it.
in that game we've just played there,
Yeah.
fill a Spartan and just drive it across the board.
Oh, absolutely. But you, the Spartan, is it the same price as that, Andrea? Thereabouts?
I'm
More.
not sure.
It's more.
Is it more? It's
Yeah.
350, isn't it? Is it 350?
Yeah, it's about 350.
And you only had the 2 squads of tactical marines. So if you send 2 forward, who's controlling your objective?
You would have to. Well, this is the thing as well. You can only put 1 unit in 1 vehicle at a time.
Oh, can you? So it has to be a 20-man squad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad.
So drive that across the board.
Drop 20 tactical marines.
Yeah, and then sit there with your quad lads.
Or spoilers, maybe.
Or then sit there with your las cannons on your Spartan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, come take your objective
Yeah,
back.
come. But no, it wasn't that. You had to hold. You had to take the objective on other players' board.
I say you also need to kill the enemy line
Yeah.
troops as well.
So that's it. Then you have whatever's left. So that would have been for me.
I don't think you can get a Spartan in that size game.
No, you couldn't. But that, on that size game, it would have left me protecting my objective. Heavy weapon squad, 2 dreads, and a command rhino and me Praetor.
Yeah.
Just surround that objective. Right, come and try and hold that.
The Spartan and the Marines would have had to take on what he's got defending his.
Yeah.
And then does it have enough punch?
4 las cannons.
Yeah. It's just.
Has it got machine spirit thing?
I would have thought so. I would imagine that all Land Raiders have.
Because if it has, it can split fire,
Yeah.
which is handy.
I'm finding it very rock, paper, scissors. Like some things kill infantry, some things kill vehicles. And there's not much crossover.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got probably thought. I think with the Dreadnought, I did take a wound off Tom's Dreadnought with the auto cannon.
Yeah.
So therefore, if I run twin auto cannons,
Yeah.
it's 6 shots re-rolling
Yeah.
against heavier things, and 6 shots at men.
I'm just not convinced with that compared to last cannons. So you're re-rolling.
Yeah.
But it's a 2+ anyway, because it's supposed to
Yeah.
skill 5.
Yeah, but in my last cannons,
So the re-roll is
Unless it's night time.
unless it's night time.
yeah.
So I mean, yeah, the re-roll's good, but it's not amazing that you
Yeah.
have to have it.
Hmm.
And then your 6 good shots versus 4 really good shots.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe he's going down to heavy bolters to just
To
wait
get
to
more
fire.
and more shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's my next one I'm building. Well, I'm going to mix up. Obviously, the heavy weapon pack I bought was missile launchers and
Yeah.
heavy
yeah.
bolters.
Yeah. I mean, heavy bolt is just against normal troops. I know you're still getting your saves, but
It's going to be a lot of firepower.
yeah, you're going to roll 1s
That-
and 2s.
That would do well against the speeders, I think, heavy bolters.
Right, should we take a break?
Yeah, we'll take a break.
And we'll come back, and our main topic is talking about these PDFs.
Yes.
Bye.
See you in a minute.
See you in a minute. Right, everyone, welcome back. We're going to be talking about the new units PDFs, but first I just want to have a quick talk about the new Angron model.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
The Demon Primarch.
yeah, so I've been looking forward to this model for a long time, and I actually don't like it.
Hmm.
So
When I first saw it, I really, really did not like it.
yeah,
But it's actually slowly grown on us.
yeah.
No, I didn't like it.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people online saying it just looks like a bloodthirster,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which it does.
it does.
And then there's a lot of people online going, well, you're stupid if you say it just looks like a bloodthirster because it just looks like the art.
Okay.
But then you would just say, well, the artist didn't do a very good job for that concept art either
Yeah.
because he's just made it look like a bloodthirster. And then people are like, point out, well, he still has the butcher's nails. He still has little bits of armour that is similar.
I mean, the thing is, having little details doesn't account for the general aesthetic not matching.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I just don't like it.
I just, like,
To be fair, I don't really like any of the Demon Primarchs I've seen, even from 40k.
yeah.
No?
I quite like Mortarion just because he is quite cool.
Yeah.
But nah.
But here's the thing though, if you saw that model on the other side of the table, if you saw Mortarion, you wouldn't go, oh, there's a great and clean one.
No,
Yeah,
you wouldn't.
And if you saw Magnus, you wouldn't go, oh, there's a lot of change.
No.
But if you put down, so 2 models have been announced, Kabanda and Angron,
Who's Commander?
the demon that Sanguinius had to fight at Cygnus Prime.
Which is a big bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
So if they were both at the other side of the table, and you were new to the game and you'd never read the
But not
books,
even you.
Well, well, let's say like new to the lore, you're not into the novels and stuff. How do you know that which one's which?
No,
I get what you say, but you can say that about any model.
Well, not really. Like I say, you know, Mortar. If somebody says I've got a great unclean one and I've got Mortaria and the Demon Primarch,
Yeah.
you know what's what.
No, if
These two things look the same. It'd be like saying I've got a Land Raider Proteus and then I've got a Land Raider Achilles, and the other guy's going, oh, you've got two Land Raiders. I've never played against them before. Which one's which?
I suppose because they are two Land Raiders, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Like the two of the same thing with slight differences, and then if you have another great unclean one that's off the plastic kit, then another one that's a 3D print, then another one that you've bought from them Canadian or American guys who do all the demon princes.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They all look the same.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that case, I mean, I think it's okay if I would make some changes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have wings.
I think he gets wings in the boot though.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
Because I think that was one of the major things that makes him look like a bloodthirst, is the wings.
Yeah.
And I would have more of a Centurion plate on show.
Yeah.
He should be a big gold
He look
thing.
basically he's big red with wings. He's a bloodthirster.
Well, he's supposed to be a berserker gladiator,
Yeah.
and nothing about this Demon Primarch says berserker gladiator.
No.
I think for me, the hooves, they didn't need to go that far.
He shouldn't have hooves.
Like they could have kept him more humanoid. His face could have kept his face looking more
one of
like
the things I'd
his
like to
face.
see him without red skin.
Yeah,
Because I think that's one of the major things that makes him look like a bloodthirster, is the red skin.
yeah. And for how much it's going to cost, I think the thing is, I mean, yeah, I get it. It's not made for 30k players. It's made for 40k players.
Oh yeah, yeah. Although he could be at the Siege of Terror.
Well, he will be, because he turned during the novel Betrayer.
Right.
That's when he became a Demon Primarch.
He wouldn't have all his gifts by then, though, would he?
He was, well, he did turn into a Demon Primarch while he was fighting against the Ultramarines
Okay.
in the 500 Worlds. So, I mean, that's basically what happens in the novel Betrayer. Spoiler alert!
That's what you did say. He gets wings.
Is that's when he becomes the Demon Primarch.
Yeah.
So it's well before the Siege of Terror.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah, it's just a bit
Bit of a letdown.
bit of a letdown for that model. What else has been announced? Predator
And
tank.
we'll just back a bit. Also think that Khorne and like the Khorne's armies and generals need more character work.
Yeah,
They need like, they're so plain.
yeah.
Like, ooh, we're like killing stuff.
Yeah, well, this Age of Sigmar ones were quite good. Like, they're core models.
Yeah, they
I
were.
suppose we can see what the new World Eaters look like, which I suppose will be quite good for. They'll probably be quite usable in 30k,
They will be.
I would imagine, for a late Heresy army. But
Yeah.
it's just, like I
Yeah.
say, the Angron. It's not enough of Angron in it, and I think if you've read the novels and you're a fan of the character,
Yeah.
they haven't done enough. I mean, you could take any tactical marine and say he's Garrow.
Yeah.
Technically, you could,
Yeah, you could, yeah.
and it's like, but it doesn't show the character.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just because they've got the right things on the model, it doesn't show the character.
Do you think he's too much demon, not enough Primarch?
Too much demon, not enough Primarch. The pose,
To
there's
bloodthirster pose as well.
yeah,
isn't it?
there's nothing about the pose
Yeah.
that says Primarch, and there's nothing to show his anguish of his butcher's nails.
Yeah.
You know, that's the whole thing with Angron, is he hates the fact that he has these things in him that they can't take out. That just makes him go into a rage
Yeah.
all the time.
Mhm.
But he hates it. But there's nothing on that model to show that.
No.
And like I say, it's not like you wouldn't expect them to go into that level of detail for a normal troop. But if you're talking about a character that big,
Like
No.
one of the big 18.
yeah, could have done something with that.
That's something else to mention is that's 3 Chaos Primarchs, 1 Royal Primarch.
Yeah, I thought the Lion would have been next, to be honest.
The Lion.
The Lion. Liam, any? Who would you, if you thought they were going to make one, who would you think it would have been?
What,
For 40k?
For 40k?
Yeah, who do you think would have came back next?
I'd have probably thought the Lion.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was the
Yeah.
Lion, and then that would have evened it out.
But he would just be like a big knight, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Could
well,
look
they
cool,
all are,
though.
really.
Just a
Isn't it?
big knight.
They haven't got- that's what Space Marines are.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like, yeah,
So what about the Predator tank?
it looks alright.
Yeah, I know there's a
Not
lot
much to
of...
say really.
Well, so there's been people complaining that it has a the Gravis Las cannon on the top,
Yeah, it's one of the options.
and that the Gravis Las cannon didn't come into play until M36.
So,
The Space Wolves were fighting
So-
Iron
But
Warriors.
we've all got
So?
Gravis Last cannons on my contemplars.
Yeah,
So has there been complaining about them yet?
like, yeah.
Yeah, levels of
So,
nerdness.
the thing is, right, what it comes down to is they want to sell the model kit and they want to be usable as everything.
yeah.
So, that's what you get.
yeah. So what about the Hammerfall bunker?
Nah, that shouldn't.
Right. So,
So,
I
the
actually
main thing with that is, I just think it's ugly.
Yeah, it is
So
awful.
I checked my 40k rulebook.
Right.
Or codex, should I say?
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's the most up to date one, because it's 2-year-old now.
Yeah.
But there literally has no lore in for that Hammerfall bunker whatsoever.
It was.
So I was thinking, like, was it
There
Primaris
is
or-
Lorna. There is Lorna, and it's Primaris.
It doesn't mention that at all. There's no
It's-
Primaris
I read-
keywords, and there's no. It literally only has 2 sentences, which
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
basically accounts for it gets dropped down
So
and
it's
works as a mobile.
That's it. It's a
support.
bunker that's dropped, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it just drops down and then puts out fire.
yeah. It literally
But
because
wasn't there a drop pod that did that?
Yeah.
It just opens up with a load
Yes.
of guns.
in
Yeah.
30k, yeah. But the thing is, in the new 40k codexes, you know how in the old codex you are like a page for every unit.
Yeah.
They've like scrapped that probably to save space
Yeah.
or put in more pictures. So you only have like a couple of sentences with the unit entry.
Hmm.
No, but I remember.
I assumed it was Primaris.
Well, no, because I've
It's-
seen somebody put a post on one of the housing groups the other day about it, and then saying, well, it wasn't invented by whoever till XYZ in such and such book.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh right, so it definitely isn't 30k.
I mean,
But
you know, this whole not invented until such and such. Just take it with a grain of salt, you know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, technically, Cole invented the Primaris Marines, like just after the heresy, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, but he just never brought them out for 10,000 years.
But I mean, the thing is, do you want the setting to just stay exactly the same forever?
Mm.
Do you want them to not expand
Yeah, I
it,
think-
not bring out new stuff?
I think the thing is with that bunker is it's clearly was designed to go with the Primaris range,
Well, the thing is,
and they've just went, yeah, you know what?
it's
we'll-
not
we'll-
not selling. We'll put it in 30k.
when you're
Yeah.
building your army, right, and you're choosing stuff that looks good, no one's going to pick it anyway.
No,
It's not going to see the table.
True.
no. Right. So
Back on topic. So
Yes.
off 40k for 10 minutes.
yeah, so we've got these 2 PDFs. One is units that don't have models, so they didn't put them in the main books.
Correct.
And one is the units that were in all of the like missions or like narrative mission PDFs that have been releasing
I think I've only seen one.
over the last 6 months.
I was,
There's 2 PDFs. One's got like 100 and odd pages and one's got about 10 pages.
oh yeah, I have. I've seen both of them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they released all the rules for these units. Like I say, some of them models don't exist.
Yep.
Some of them were first heresy existed.
Yeah.
So what's
that's
your
the thing.
opinions of them?
Well, I'm quite happy with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, as an Ultramarine player, I've gained full Taurus Terminators
Mm-hmm.
and the Locky Taurus Storm Squad.
Okay.
So, a Locky Taurus Storm Squad are an assault squad with power swords who get a special extra initiative.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty good.
they're pretty good. No super special about them.
Mhm.
I think they might have shields as well.
Yeah.
Sword and Shield. So they're all right.
Sword and board.
They're not like amazing, but they've definitely got a use. And then the Lucky Taurus Terminators are basically like Iron Warriors. What they called?
Siege Tyrant.
Siege Tyrants.
Right.
So they have a different type of missile launcher, but which is shorter range.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, it gives me something. Like, say, I didn't know what to do with my Terminators because the way I'm building my army, I don't really want close combat Terminators.
No.
I don't really want to be paying the points for them. So that gives me something to do with my plastic Terminators in my box set.
Yeah.
Erasmus Golg's back in there,
Mm-hmm.
which I have a model for my small Iron Warriors force, which I don't really use, but if I ever did, I can use him again. Box Dreads are in there, and I don't think anything else really affects me.
Indominus Terminators are in there, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use them in Heresy anyway.
No.
I don't feel like it's like using Mark 7 Marines. You can,
Yeah.
you really want to, but why would you?
Yeah. I know that the Chancellor sentry guns are in it.
Oh yeah.
They're handy for little fast attack squads.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to shoot the closest thing though.
Yeah.
Of their target type.
Yeah.
So one of them target infantry has to shoot the closest.
There's a bolter one. There's
an anti-air one.
Yeah.
Only shoots anti-air.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
So you were saying you wanted this to be our topic because
I've got a controversial opinion on it,
Oh, do you know?
and that is it shouldn't exist.
Why?
Because why should it exist? They don't produce these models.
Because they're left out so much.
They don't produce these models, right? So here's the thing, right?
But
I've
they
seen
did.
a lot of people complain about balance and things. You can't complain about balance and then also complain about when they try and control what units exist and don't exist. Because that is balance.
Yeah. But surely, like, say if you already owned some of these models.
But if I did, then I can play on the Heresy 1.
Yeah, but you might want to play Heresy 2 if all your mates are playing Heresy 2.
Well, then you have to count with something else.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know, I don't see an issue really. Like, say for example, as somebody who owns a 3D printer, you can have any model that you
I don't
want.
see an issue with them being overcosted, really.
A lot of it does seem overcosted.
A lot of it is overcosted, and I do not have an issue with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, there you go. Some rules. You can use your models if you have to,
Yeah.
but they're saying they're not balanced, and that's why they're overcosted.
So when you say they're not balanced, it just means they couldn't be bothered to balance them.
Probably.
So
Yeah.
they've just put a higher
They
cost
couldn't be
on them
bothered, and I don't think they should have to.
make sure that they're not too good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, see, this is the thing though. Like, do you want them just to have rules for models they have? Like, would you have been happy if, because they've only got that new Praetor in the box set, if you
Yeah.
could only either take a big stupid axe or a big stupid sword on your Praetor, instead of all the full page of options that you've got, because that's how they did it with 40k.
I suppose you're right there.
Do you know what I mean? If you take a Primaris, is it Captain still in 40k? Or do they call him someone else? Anyway, your Primaris leader in 40k, there's only 3 set options, and you have to have those set options, because that's what's on the model. Whereas in Heresy, they haven't done that at all. You can just mix and match whatever you feel like.
That's true.
Do you know, imagine if your squad sergeants only had the option for a power fist or a plasma pistol, because that's all that was in the box. But they haven't done that. They let you. So it's back to how it used to be.
Yeah.
In the 90s, where they would have your unit entries, and you could convert and do whatever to make what you want.
Because a lot of the stuff they've released in this, especially the Legion specific stuff, is characters and books
Oh, it is, yeah.
that you might want. I'd say.
No, but he can just be a Praetor.
Yeah.
He can be a Centurion.
I know, but it's nice to have a couple of cool rules for them.
I mean, it is, but then that's also like it's going to create issues as well.
Right, so the issue number 1, if you're playing out Warhammer World, you're going to struggle to take these units.
Yeah.
because you're not going to be able to buy them. You never. Well,
I mean, a lot of them you just can't get them now, can
Yeah. They don't. You can't get them now, or they've never existed in the first place.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, and I have noticed there's a lot of
So-
there's a lot of stuff in there.
So-
Was Forge World, which
Yeah.
Well, I
they
mean,
now
some
don't
stuff
make.
wasn't even Forge World, like you said, it just
Yeah.
hasn't existed
It's never
ever.
existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So why is that there?
there were rules for them in the old version.
Okay.
So like, say you've got all these special characters. You can just take them out of the game, but you don't have to.
Because it was.
No.
I remember in 7th, they had rules in the Chaos Demons book for Nurgle demons that had never existed, never been a model for.
Yeah. Or was that the Toad thing?
No, it was the Plague Father, I believe.
Okay.
It was a big,
I
massive.
can't remember.
I can't really say it was ages ago. I just doubled. It's basically a great unclean one with a cannon,
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
and a lot of people did conversions using the Glock King
Yeah.
from.
Well, I mean that's a
Fantasy.
good thing though. Like you want.
But then in 8, that's when Games Workshop went right. If we haven't got a model for it, it's not in the book,
Hmm.
and that's when they did the whole right. We are only creating rules for models we make,
Yeah.
which is
Which I totally understand.
yeah. But then they've said now, here's a couple of
So, tell you what, the main thing I don't like about it adds a layer of ambiguity. It's like, are we using these ones, are we not? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Are we allowing these ones?
Well,
Are
I
we
would
not allowing
say
them?
unless you were playing at a tournament, why not?
Well, that's it, just at a tournament, so I decide, oh, we're not using those.
Well, it would be the
Because it's a
tournament
separate PDF.
organizer.
Yeah, I know, but whereas, ones in the books that have been through properly, you can't question, can
Yeah.
you use them? You know?
Yeah. But I mean,
There is no
like,
doubt.
even at a narrative event though, why would you say, oh, you can't use them? Because like you say,
Why would you
nothing's,
limit?
nothing's overpowered. It's
No.
balanced to an extent because they've made everything expensive.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were going to an actual tournament anyway, you're probably unlikely to take stuff out of there.
No, you wouldn't. You would be taking.
Unless there's maybe a special character. Unless you're not bothered about winning, because not all tournament players are bothered
Oh,
about
that's it. I
winning.
think the.
And, you know, they still just like to have their own fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like, say you might own like a Legion Shadow Sword or something,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and go, well, I want to use it. Perturabo has one.
I'm not really sure why they brought those like them super heavies into the legions in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't really think they fit.
Well, I think that'll come down to when you couldn't buy. Like, they didn't actually have big Space Marine tanks.
No.
So, to have a super heavy, it had to be an Imperial Guard one.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, as more stuff got made,
Mhm.
then they added the Space Marines' own stuff. But I think, like, half of them units are special characters anyway.
Yeah.
So, I'll take it there wasn't really anything good for Death Guard.
I don't really see that much good for anyone really.
I got a character.
A lot of it is just really overpointed.
Yeah,
We had it did give us the rules for the Achilles,
yeah.
but then,
Yeah.
as I say during that,
Yeah, but
it's-
that's not
it's
really
not great.
worth what you paid for it.
Really?
In normal
It
land
was-
rate it would have been better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so... Yeah.
and it's mainly characters and special stuff.
I mean, you can't really complain about it, though.
I suppose no, I'm not complaining. I'm complaining about really. I'm complaining about the complaining, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like I'm not really sure how to word this.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people, like, try and change stuff, like, saying, oh, how I would do this. I would change these points, change these gun ranges,
Yeah.
etc., etc.
But they can't have that many games in yet.
No. I mean, to be fair, how many games have I played now? 5.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's played as many games as I have.
Hmm.
But, yeah, the other thing is, though, if you've been playing war games long enough, sometimes you can just see that something's good on paper.
That's true.
Like, sometimes you need to use it to figure out what it does, and sometimes you can just look at it on paper and go, yeah, that is good,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you know it's going to be good. Like, Dreadnoughts, for example. We knew that as soon as we read version 2 rules, we knew they were going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they turn out to be
I've
good.
already printed 3.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no other thoughts on that?
I'll let you know if I have more.
Yeah. It's just our main topic that you chose, isn't it?
Well, I thought you would also have an opinion on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm happy with. Like I say, I'll get some really good Terminators out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
I get a character
You get a
who's
character.
got basically all he does is if he dies he goes in reserve
Yeah.
and comes
Was
back.
it Ralderon?
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty cool.
No, it's not.
I'm sure it's Ralderon. Or is he the one in the book?
He's the one in the book.
Yeah.
It is. You see, he goes in reserve and comes back on turn 4 with 1 wound.
Alright. If he
Yeah.
dies before turn 4.
Yeah, if he dies before turn 4.
We'll have to find out who this is. I'm just
Back with-
looking for our listeners' question. But without trying to make any noise off my phone. And my WhatsApp's going weird.
Yeah, I just wasn't that. I don't know.
You weren't that mate with us?
Like, it would have been better to release the missions PDF.
Yes, that
Yeah.
would have been handy.
So we're just waiting on Loom to find out the name of this Blood Angels character.
Well, you're going to pronounce him because I ain't.
You got the Blood Angel section.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, you read that.
It is Judicar Astercron. Last officer
On the
of
94th. 94th company, the shroud maker, the ghost of Siphon.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Siphon. So basically, if he uses that one, he comes back as 1 life left, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Alright, okay.
So one thing to point out with Blood Angels that I've just read. So I'm actually nearly at the end of the Lupercal's War short story collection.
Okay.
The Blood Angels one. So there's like a warden, which is what they're called. They're chaplains. They were like anti-librarian guys, going around making sure nobody was using psychic powers.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the whole of the Legion went off to Cygnus Prime, and they'd got a message back saying that Sanguinius had died.
Right.
So in
Yeah.
mourning they painted all their armour black and put red crosses on,
Okay.
which means that you can't paint your 30k army like Death Company.
Yep, so I'm going to be
So that means you can use your existing Death Company army
as...
in 30k.
yes, basically, I can use them
Technically, yeah.
as Angel's cohort, I think it's, which is basically Jetpack Marines.
Jetpack Marines, cool.
Right.
So there we go, Death Guard.
Right.
Death Company.
So listener's question from John Tevez. How do you guys reconcile narrative versus competitive in Horus Heresy? It seems there is a strong tension between the two from the community.
Okay. Go first. I don't.
Nor do I.
Like,
There's nobody in our game.
narrative versus competitive. So basically what you're saying is, if you're going to a narrative event,
Uh-huh.
do you limit your army? If you're going to a competitive event, do you not limit your army? Is that basically
Does
it?
it even go that far?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, to be fair, I listen to a lot of Heresy podcasts, and when they talk about their events, there's a lot of very strong lists go to these narrative events.
Yeah.
Nobody turns up to these narrative events with rubbish lists.
No. I mean, okay.
So you wouldn't. What's the difference?
so what I'm
Let's
saying
try and
is-
say what's the difference between a narrative and a competitive game. Let's say you've got your Horus Heresy 2.0 box set.
So
You've made your army.
a competitive game, from the outset, tries to be fair. The narrative game tells a story.
Yeah.
I think that's the major difference.
But at the minute, you build your army to your Liber Astartes rulebook.
Yeah.
And
You
everybody,
play your mission out of your Age of Darkness rulebook.
yeah.
What's the difference?
In Heresy, nothing, because at the minute if you want to do a competitive list, or you want to do a narrative list, they're the same because there isn't
I
enough.
suppose it's not because I am limiting myself.
There's not enough stuff released yet to make it.
Because with my Death Guard army,
Yeah.
I'm strictly going no vehicles.
Yes, and I know you are.
which means I'm actually coming away from competitive because I've realised like how much better there could be with vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, because just
And
today
I'm
you
purposely going to limit myself.
So you're making a theme. So you're saying if you went to a tournament next week, you would put rhinos in 100%. And you
No,
would drop your theme.
no, because here's the thing, right? I've never come close to winning the tournament, even with a competitive list.
Have you ever been to a tournament with a competitive list?
Actually, there was that boat action one where I did nearly win,
Right.
but that wasn't a competitive list. But I mean, in the 40k ones, I did try to make competitive lists, and I never came anywhere near anywhere good.
Yeah, but is that not just because you didn't actually make a top?
It's probably because
competitive-
I
You're
didn't have a
making
3D printer
You're
at the
making a
time.
competitive list out of the models you've got
Yeah.
and the army you've got,
Yeah.
Yeah.
rather than making a competitive list,
Oh,
Chasing
anything.
out
chasing the
of
meta.
anything, yeah.
Chasing the meta, yeah.
which is a different thing. Like, for example, you could make the most competitive list you want to do out of, like, Imperial Guard at the minute, but you wouldn't stand any hope in hell of getting anywhere in a game.
So
Yeah.
I suppose
Whereas you could make a half competitive list with, like, Tau.
I wouldn't change my Legion to suit.
Yeah.
But
That's
see,
one thing. Like,
we've never chased the meta.
no,
We've all picked up.
we've used parts of it before.
Yeah. It's like, well,
Never.
it's like the
went
only,
into
the
it.
only time I've really had anything that was overly built was 8th edition Smash Captain.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't not. It's like you can't not. Yes, he's a glass hammer, but it was like you can't. He was an auto include.
Yeah.
Even on small games, like I'm going to be facing at least one tank where I need someone that'll take a tank out. He's actually quite cheap. He'll do.
Yeah.
But that was about it. I think I've never used anything else that was a bit. Say Eradicators in 40k. Never used them,
Yeah.
and they were at the time. Unit delete. You point that. You point that at a
They were
tank
pretty powerful
Yeah.
Eradicators.
because you had 2 squads of them,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Mhm.
Didn't you, Tom? So you,
Yeah.
you point that at a tank. It's like, well, that's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this is the thing though.
But
Do you
how
not
does
think?
that reconcile narrative and
Well, at the minute, there's only one army.
what Marines?
Yeah.
Marines. I think
So-
I think what the guy's on about is how do you reconcile with each other. So say for instance we had me and you, say Tom, me and you had a proper competitive tournament game today,
Yeah.
all like with the best of everything we could get for our armies. And you totally tabled us,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, dickhead, kind of thing. I was like, oh, what an arse for doing that. But we're mates.
Alright.
So I wouldn't have to go the next game. I'm not playing him again because he did this to us. But see, none of us in our gaming club do that. That I've found up to now.
Yeah.
Play like that.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Like it's not. You don't have competitive and narrative gamers. You have competitive and narrative games.
Yeah.
So if you're turning up to a fairly casual game, planning to, rinse the other person in 2 turns when they don't have a chance, then, they're not going to want to play you again.
Exactly. Whereas on our club, none of us do that.
Yeah.
Yes, if I'm playing against God, I'll take more lighter weapons
Yeah.
because heavy weapons are going to be pointless. If I'm playing against,
So, one of the things I do, right, is I never let up. Never.
No, I don't.
I can be totally smashing out, not let up until the game's over.
Yeah,
How does that make you feel?
fine.
Because to me, that's the game.
Our last
Oh,
game,
yeah.
you beat me 17-0.
And I wasn't gonna stop
No, you weren't.
until it was 20-0.
Yeah, but I think that the difference is though, like as well, like we've just had a game here, and it was like Liam was going to run away with his Praetor. It was like, well, why don't you just get him to charge in?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Because that's what he would do.
Yeah.
Like, it's a Blood Angels
But then,
captain, he would
yeah,
charge in.
yeah,
And
he
it
would.
didn't help. It didn't really affect the game in any
No.
way. But
So is part of it making a narrative decision?
yeah, I think so.
I think if you...
Like, what would you guys do?
I'm
on
a
the
Blood
table?
Angels leader. I'm not running away.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going in.
I think
Yeah.
a lot...
Like, you don't need to. Like, let's say you're playing as Space Wolves.
Yeah.
Oh, the
And you
PDF...
wouldn't take a
sorry,
line,
the
would you?
good thing for them, they're just getting Fenris rolls on the PDF.
Oh.
So that will be quite cool.
Yeah.
So
That's something without power armor.
yes,
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go.
it's a howling wolf. No, with 10 points,
Yeah.
pennies.
Well, let's say you took Space Wolves and you're like, right, if I don't shoot and I survive this round, I'm going to win the game just by standing here and doing nothing.
Yeah,
But you men are like 3 inches away from an enemy squad. You would charge
Hmm.
because you're Space Wolves
Yeah.
or World Eaters
or Blood Angels
or Blood Angels.
Whereas
You
Ultramarines and Iron Warriors
would hold the line.
would hold the line, yeah.
Yeah.
But you would, like I say, what you would do. You could base what you would do on the setup of the table and the point scoring and whether you win or not.
Yeah.
Or you can base what you do on what your men would do
Yeah.
and play like within the theme of your army.
So
Because at the end of the day, if you're not at an event where you get a prize for winning,
So you see
what difference does it make anywhere?
And the difference being the competitive is you do everything you can to win,
yeah,
even if it goes against the law of what you're playing.
yeah,
Yeah, I would say so.
yeah.
Whereas the narrative one is you make a balance between the two. You try and win still,
Yeah.
but win
How-
as your army.
Yes,
Yeah, but how? But there will be people who say they're narrative gamers
they're not.
who will do that, be playing to win every game like that anyway.
Hmm.
And there will be people who say they're competitive gamers who will make narrative choices on the tabletop just for
Oh
the
yeah.
crack.
I mean, you see them at every tournament you go in.
Yeah.
So the crossovers, I think. Yeah, so somebody made a Facebook group for competitive 30k,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of people like hating on it.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, really, what that group is about is probably getting a right answer to rules questions to people who were bothered about getting the right answer to rules questions,
Yeah.
rather than how do I build a
It's
list that
understanding how
white-
the tools work.
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm in a lot of Blood Angels groups, obviously, and
Yeah.
a couple of tournament ones as well for me, backup army.
Mhm.
And the amount of times that people post on, right, I'm playing against Death Guard this weekend.
Mhm.
What list should I play? What list do I need to?
Mhm. What
Kill.
do I need to know?
Yeah.
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 Whereas I've played against Tom today, I had no idea what his rules do, and I got me on. I was like,
But the thing, let's say you were Ultramarines, right?
uh huh.
Their generals will do this. They'll go, who are we going to fight against? Who's this
Yeah.
campaign?
Yeah.
How do we prepare to fight this enemy?
Yeah.
Well, World Eaters won't. They'll just run at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like,
So that's part of
Yeah. I
It can
suppose,
be.
Yeah.
part of it.
yeah, I think the other one, like, it's easier with an event. If you have an event and you know it's a competitive tournament or it's a narrative event, and there's an event pack that tells you this stuff and what to put in your armies and
Yeah,
what to
what-
not put in
yeah.
your armies, and that sort of
So-
thing. It's easier to define the two.
Here's the question: does blue on blue feel wrong?
Yes.
Because that's against narrative.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of doing that, but like most, I would say in our group we're like 80% loyalist,
Yeah.
so there's not really a lot
I
of
think
choice.
I think it's more 60-40, like.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just there's more loyalists got the
Oh.
armies.
Yeah,
There's
That
more
one-
loyalist armies ready.
Well,
like actually on the table.
Yeah. See, mine, none of mine are painted. I've got 2 tanks spray painted red.
Mm-hmm.
Me Bringer of Sours built and sprayed red, but he's not base because I'm doing his base different. And I've got 10 Mark 2s, 9 Mark 2s built and sprayed red because I'm the one I'm going to convert with a sergeant. But I haven't got them on bases yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, and I had the box for a week and I had that built. So there's a lot of people haven't got,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people in our group who won't play with their armies unpainted,
Yeah, that's true.
which is fine. But I'm not that bothered.
Yeah.
I work full time and I'm a slow painter, so I'm not really that bothered.
I think for me, one of the major things between the narrative competitive as well is that the narrative doesn't have to be a fair fight.
No, it doesn't.
It can be this is your mission.
Yeah,
Go do it.
yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I think it comes down to the fact are you bothered? Not are you bothered about winning, but are you bothered that winning does it make any difference winning?
Yeah, yeah.
Because like you
Everyone,
say,
you wouldn't play war games if you weren't bothered about winning. It is part of it. You make choices to try and win.
Yes, you do.
well, yeah, but at the same, like, let's say we went out and had a game of tennis
Yeah.
now.
No.
Right. It wouldn't be like
no,
Not in this weather.
we
I'm
wouldn't.
40.
We
no.
probably we don't really know the rules, but you know, if we had any tennis rackets, they would be old and knackered,
Yeah.
and we'd only just be doing it for a bit of exercise and sunlight.
But you wouldn't
You
not
wouldn't-
try and hit the ball, would
No,
you?
you'd try and win, but you wouldn't be like, you probably wouldn't even keep score
No.
after a certain point.
No.
It would end with next point wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that not how tennis works?
I have no idea.
It's
maybe.
not.
I have no idea. I know my cousin was at Wimbledon the day, but that's about it.
It's
Okay.
not how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're being told it's not how tennis works.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Tom's eldest in the
Well, until
background.
they release
Yeah.
a tennis war game, we
I
won't
think
know.
It's like first 19.
Oh, God, no,
Oh, it's like
no.
snooker.
No one knows. I'm learning from a video game here.
Okay.
right, so basically, it's about whether there's any point to winning. There's a difference between narrative and competitive.
To be honest, I'm not that far. I just think I just like having a game.
Yeah.
If I lose, I'll lose a lot more than I win.
Hmm.
I think I can count on one hand how many games I've won in the past couple of years. But I'm not that fussed. I enjoy playing.
Do you think we've actually answered this question?
Probably not.
Not really, no.
Well,
Shall
whenever
I
I
read
like-
it out again?
No, I think we've got enough.
Yeah, I think I think basically the community's split, but then they look.
Oh, they're really split though.
They,
Is there actually a split?
there's probably some people at the extreme ends,
Yeah.
whereas I would imagine that 95% of the people fall somewhere in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
where they do try and win, and they don't make a rubbish army on purpose.
Yeah.
But then they're not necessarily going to make the hardest army they can. And also, if the friends say, look, I'm not having fun playing against this army, can you play something else? They probably would.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't play any more games.
Yeah.
So,
There is. I mean, I've played a few games of other game systems against other people. And I thought, well, this is going to be a boring game.
Hmm.
I'm going to lose in 2 turns.
yeah.
It's like, and put post on it in the our group and other groups have played and said, anybody fancy a game of X, Y, Z this weekend, or this Wednesday or this Thursday or whatever night the club, whatever night whatever club's on. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to play him because he plays a tournament list every
Yeah.
time. It's like,
Hmm.
no, I don't want to play that because it's not
What
fun.
if I said, I've got a really cool mission idea, chances are you're going to lose,
Yeah.
but we'll have a blast.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
See, I'll be fine with that if you said, look, I've designed this mission. There's this thing here. You've got to get this. But
Because the thing is, with the missions in this book, it's giving you, you've got this objective, you've got to do this, but it's out of context.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's just like an objective because an objective exists.
it's like somebody.
Where's the story?
Something like, off the top of my head, the missions here. 1500 points each.
Yeah.
I've got to get. I'm the attacker. You're the defender. I've got to get from my table edge to an objective in your table edge.
Mm-hmm.
But if my movement stops, or if I stop my movement in a building, you haven't seen us get to that building
Alright.
to like pet a poppy way to your target kind of thing, or something, just something daft like that
Yeah.
makes it a bit more. Oh, this could be a good laugh,
Yeah.
rather than just you need to get that target.
Mm. I found that conflict missions were really good.
Yes.
That had a sense of theme to it.
Yeah.
The
That's maybe something we
the
could try in the
VIP
future.
one
Yeah.
where the downed aircraft, they get to it and get off the board.
That could totally be a
that
marine
was a
thing.
cool.
Yeah,
That was a
definitely.
cool. It's a cool mission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Sorry, we're moving right off on a tangent
I
here.
know. So I think that answers John Tevez' question.
If not, we're
Let's
sorry.
hope so.
Let's
Let's
hope
hope
so.
so.
If it doesn't, you can ask it again.
Yeah.
Slightly
So
different.
if anyone has their own listener's question, don't forget to comment on the YouTube video.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on your podcast app. Leave us a 5-star review, or just
What, leave us a real review.
yeah,
Yeah.
any review. Yeah, and just tell your friends about us.
You're asking too much of them.
Yeah. So just tell if you have any friends who are interested in heresy. Just give us a share. You know, we're still new, and we're still like building our community, but you know it'll be good once it's there. So if you'd like to see pictures of the games and stuff, I'm on Instagram at Scorpus_flex, and I generally post a lot of the stuff on there. So that's episode 5.
The grey tie will be mine at the moment.
Yeah, that's episode 5. And if no one has anything else to say,
No, that's it.
right, thanks for listening.
Thanks a
and
lot.
good night.
Good
Night.
night.